Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're going to be talking about the new Secret Lair deck Precon that is coming out. So this is going to be from Secret Lair, so, if you don't want to hear about it, feel free to tune out, but I am pretty excited about it. Even if, I'm not able to pick it up, it does look like it's a very, very interesting concept. So this is going to be 20 ways to win. We'll talk about what the focus of it is soon, but this is a new Secret Lair deck coming, similar to the previous Raining Cats and Dogs and the Heads I Win, Tails You Lose, etc. It's a full deck, so, full 100 commander deck, not just 5 cards, and generally they're pretty awesome. They'll have some decent kind of reprints in them, some new art for 5-6 cards usually. These are the previous ones. So you had the Raining Cats and Dogs, you had Angels, they're just like us but with cooler with wings or something like that, from Cute to Brute, and then Heads I Win, Tails You Lose. So the Raining Cats and Dog one, this one sold out in I think it was 6 hours or something. So keep in mind that this might sell out relatively quickly. But then again, cats and dogs, everyone loves cats and dogs. So it could have been more because of that. Who knows? It was absolutely amazing though. It was a really decent deck out the bat. And if you wanted to kind of change it up, there's a lot of different paths you could take it. And it even had fully customized basic lands. So they had a full art forest and mountain and plains that are all based around cats and dogs and stuff. Then we had the Heads I Win, Tails You Lose. I'm only choosing 2 different ones from these. There is 4 or 5 different ones as I showed you before. So usually they have commanders and new art for commanders, new art for a few other cards, and then some nice reprints in it too. And I suspect this one will be very, very similar. We've already seen, some new arts and stuff, and kind of what is going on with it. And so this is going to feature 20 different ways to win the game. It's going to have alternate win cons, damage, everything under the sun. There's various different artists in this as well. It's not all tied to one artist. It is a whole bunch of different artists, it looks like. The commander isn't revealed yet for it, but it is very likely going to be Go Shintai of Life's Origin. They've already showed this new card, so this is one of the new cards here. A lot of win the game cards are already enchantments and everything, so he kind of works well with it. And even if they're not enchantments, they kind of work well with some themes that you can run with him, especially if, they get removed or something, or, if you're focusing on some of the things that they show you later on, then you've got the option of bringing stuff back, lots of stuff. And Go Shintai decks and Shrine decks overall can include a lot of these win the game effects anyway, so it works rather well. This is similar, my Bumbleflower deck is kind of like this, where it's got a whole bunch of win the game effects rather than actually winning via combat damage or anything, just alternate win cons, and I find that idea interesting, so I'm really excited to see exactly how this deck goes. So before we get into any more, make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you share the video around, all that kind of stuff. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers at the moment. Now keep in mind, I'm going to be away for a day, which is going to feel weird, so I'm going to have to do a video tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon maybe. Yeah, I don't know, I'm going on a mini trip, so just keep that in mind. But otherwise, we do daily videos here, whether it's new decks, new news, etc., etc. So going into the actual 20 ways to win. The first ones they showed here are if you want the job done right, which is number 1. Win by dealing 21 commander damage to the last opponent. This is very interesting because of the fact that Go Shintai isn't typically a card that is focused around combat or anything. So you kind of, I guess I could potentially, I'll talk about that in a little bit actually. We've got number 2, All Reliable, win by reducing the last opponent's life total to 0. And then number 3 is the library is closed, win when the last opponent attempts to draw from an empty library. They also showed this Soul Ring art here, which is awesome. It's Tom Nook from Animal Crossing. I love it. And then they showed number 4 here, which is forget your sunscreen, win using approach from the second sun. This is actually really awesome. I've won with my Bumbleflower deck with, actually every single time I've played my Bumbleflower deck, I have won with it or been 1 turn away from winning from it. So approach from the second sun was how I won with it. I've almost won with Triska Defile. I've almost won with, what was the other one? 20-toed Toad. And yeah, so number 4, approach from the second sun. So speculation here from now on. The library is closed, aka mill your opponents out or exile their library. So obviously, there's a bunch of cards that work well with this, where if opponents can't draw cards, then they lose. If they're meant to draw and they can't yeah. Goshintai actually works really well with this as well, and you can kind of tie it into the other stuff, which is when you would draw a card, if your library is empty, then you win the game. In regards to like milling everyone. So not just milling opponents, but you can mill everyone, because then you've got Goshintai here that can bring back, and now I'm probably butchering that name, I apologize. You can probably bring back, you know, a bunch of really, really nice enchantments with this. Commander damage as well, as I said, with Goshintai is interesting. Maybe we'll have a bunch of ways to buff him up based off enchants you've got, or something that works well with him. So stuff like all that glitters, that kind of thing, or there's a new ethereal armor as well, where based off of all the enchantments you get +1/+1, or something along those lines. So, you know, there's lots of really great ways that they can make him into a big beast based off of building the rest of your board up, which is really cool. So going through a bunch of different win cons they could potentially include in here. I'm going to go talk about all of them. Well, this is not all of them. This is a lot of them. And then I'll talk about the ones that I don't think they'll include as well, and the ones that I think they will include. So some mill/draw ones. So, you know, you've got Thassa's Oracle, a CEDH kind of staple there that I think we could potentially see in this pretty easily. Mortal Kombat and these other ones, these three here, all tie into that, you know, drawing cards from your library, winning the game if your library is empty, or, you know, you've milled yourself out and now there's 20 or more creatures in there. Boom. We'll have to see how that goes, because I don't know if this deck will run 20 creatures depending on its like actual creature cards, I should say. Artifact wins. These ones I think are easy to include. Mechanized production. You'll get that pretty easily, especially if you enchant a treasure, which ties into Revel in Riches as well. And then Hellfire Tyrant is a great way to be able to steal away artifacts from people. Hand size win cons. If you've got exactly this amount of cards or above this amount of cards, win the game. We've got health win cons. There's a bunch of different ones for that, whether it's, you know, win when you've got 1 life, win when you've got, you know, 50 or more life, or use your life to deal damage to people, or just win the game if you've got 40 or more life. You know, a bunch of great ways to win with your health. +1/+1s, or power. So these two tie in really well with those two themes. You've got counter ones. This is probably the one that I think probably won't be included, because they're kind of hard to tie in with the rest of the deck, right? Like, easy to tie in with the rest of the deck if, you know, you tie it into creatures entering or something. Health is easy. Hand size ties into the mill and draw. Artifacts tie in all together. The counter size ones really don't tie well in together with the other ones, unless they've got heaps of like proliferate or ways to be able to double your counters or something. But maybe, but I doubt it. You also got creature win cons. I think both of these can easily go in here, especially because of the fact that you're going to be shooting out a whole bunch of tokens with Goshintai, especially if they add in like a Maskwood Nexus. So therefore every non-token creature that enters is also a shrine, and then also make it so you can animate your enchantments, and then your enchantments are then shrines, and boom. We've got other win cons. So these ones here are other ones they could potentially include. Maze's End. I really hope they don't include this, because if they go and include Maze's End, then they've got to include 10 or more gates. And while gates are interesting and stuff, they make for a really not great mana base, in my opinion. You know, there is gate mana bases that work well with Maze's End and stuff, but I just don't like it. I don't think this is great. You know, Promising Stairs, I doubt as well, because of the fact that you need 8 different rooms. So you need, what, 4? You'd need 4 different room cards, because then each one will count twice, because each is a different, like 2 different rooms to count towards this. So you'd need 4 room cards. I doubt it. And then Happily Ever After, I think you could easily include, because of the fact that it's just based off the colors of your permanents, colors in your graveyard, etc., and your life total. This one here easily ties into every single thing that I think this deck could be doing. So, as I said, which ones I think they'll include? The creature-based ones. Goshintai spits out tokens you can populate, etc. Power-based ones. Things that are like, you know, give +1s, etc. Because that ties into the whole commander damage. Otherwise, you know, Goshintai I don't think is going to be great for commander damage. You've got artifact-based ones. Easy, because they all tie in well together, as well as create treasures that you can then use on, you know, getting your other stuff out. Hand size and draw ones, easy peasy, and health-sized ones. These ones here are all ones that I could easily see going in here. Some non-instant win cons. So this is stuff that I think they'll include beyond the instant win cons. So easily a bunch of stacks and protection. If this deck is aiming to not necessarily always win via damage or anything, then I think some protection is going to be required. Stuff like propaganda, sphere of safety is, I think sphere of safety is 100% guaranteed, right? Like if you've got enchantments and you're going heavy into enchantments, it is an easy win con because no one can attack you unless they remove it. Other stuff in here, more shrines, I think easily could be included as well, like this Sanctum of All, or any of the other shrines. There's a bunch of different shrines that they could easily add in here that will work well with a whole bunch of different themes, whether it's dealing damage, gaining life, etc. I think I'm pretty sure that there is a shrine that gives you life, right? Am I going crazy? Someone let me know. Am I going crazy? But it is also a secret lair. I think that's the biggest issue here, is this is a secret lair. I'm not going to focus too much on the fact that it's a secret lair and secret lair still sucks, but if it's still a limited quantity thing, then you're going to need to be on top of it if you want it. I don't think it's going to be quite as in demand as either the Marvel ones or the Cats and Dogs one, but I do think it is going to be in demand just purely because it is a cool thing. And even like the Angels one, I think the Angels one's going for like $600 US or something ridiculous, right? They're still going for a huge price because they're still pretty cool. So hopefully they change it so then I have a chance of being able to get it. If not, we'll see. We'll see what people do. But that's it for today, guys. I'd love to hear from you guys as to what you think. What cards do you think are going to be included in this? I am really, really excited about it. But also kind of like Secret Lair. I hope you guys had a great day and goodbye.